What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unknown Coatings channel. Doing another wheel video today. This one a little bit different, doesn't necessarily apply to wheels, but it is whether or not we can make the glossiest gloss black more glossy. That might sound confusing, but we're going to be using a super durable clear from Tiger over top of Tiger's wet black. These are a set of Ford RS wheels, and the customer had a good experience doing super durable clear over top of his last wheels, so we want to do those again. First things first, of course, put these in the Express Chem chemical strip setup. Once again, I do have a video coming out that should be out this week going over this whole setup, so you guys have a better idea of what the product is they're offering. About a half hour later, pulled them out. They, of course, look like this. We sent them over to the next tank over just to pressure wash them, and they are absolutely bare once again. Probably could have pulled these out. I think the second set of those that I put in were only in for about 15 minutes, and they were stripped. The factory finish on these was actually pretty terrible. I'm not sure what Ford is doing. As you can see by how shiny this wheel is, Ford does zero prep to these wheels. They just throw, paint or something over the top of them. Got this in the Sandblasting cabinet. This is actually the probably best video that I've made of sandblasting within this cabinet. For those of you that are for sure gonna ask, 3060 green diamond. I used 3060 green diamond to blast. After outgassing these, of course, we're gonna need to tape off the back pads. Customer was pretty specific about how he wanted these masked. He is running center caps, so ended up doing some more cutouts of this high temp tape to do the initial circle on the inside because he wanted no powder inside the bore. Once again, that's absolutely the best way. There's other ways that you can go about it. You can cone it and do some other things. I've seen people put plugs in it. I don't prefer the plugs just because I occasionally will get the bubbles around the edges, and that makes it look kind of uneven. Cutting these little discs out that you can put in from the back works like an absolute champ. And then, of course, once the back pad is done, you're going to have to do all your basic trimming. I've had a couple people ask me once again why I'm not using amber tape. I actually still do use the amber tape, but on these flat surfaces, this green tape works perfectly fine as long as you squeegee it down well. I've had people tell me that it doesn't stick well, and usually that's on cheaper tape. This is a little heavier tape. This is from Epsy. I guess a little thicker tape is probably a better way of describing it. It's nice and rigid, easy to cut the edges. Don't get it twisted. I do still love my amber tape more than anything. It just seemed like I don't use it in a lot of videos anymore, I noticed. I don't know why that is, but I promise I do in fact still use it all the time. And I guess this is as good a time as any to remind you guys, if you like powder coating and powder coating content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, turn on all notifications so you get a heads up when we post new videos. And I'm trying to get more comments in the videos, so if you guys have any video ideas that you'd like to see, make sure you leave a comment below, or if you just have any advice or words of encouragement about videos in the future, be sure to leave that down below as well. So after these get taped and then, of course, hung up, we're going to run around them with a torch. This is just to get rid of any lint after they've been blown off. Occasionally if you bump your shirt or something, you'll get some lint on a blasted surface. Don't want to do that. This is a great way to go around and make sure that there is none of that left on the wheel. You actually see what looks to be like little sparks coming off anywhere there is lint. So if you see an area where there's a lot of it, just make sure you go over that area a couple different times to make sure that you get it all. First thing we're putting down here is some primer. I actually tend to do this a lot on gloss black wheels, even if they're blasted in the little cabinet versus out in the big blaster, which is a little bit more aggressive. I just think the primer ends up giving it an overall better finish. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a great finish without doing the primer first. It just seems like when I put them side by side, the ones with the primer end up having a bit better finish. So on all my gloss black wheels, I'll end up doing a primer. This is just kind of a run-of-the-mill primer from Tiger. I think it's their dry lock, if I remember correctly. But any primer that's purpose for aluminum, there are differences in primers. I do have a video coming out giving kind of a breakdown on the different versions of primer and what they're used for, and when you should use and when you shouldn't use primer. And then the mainstay, of course, of this video is going to be Tiger's Wet Black. Anybody who's followed the channel for any period of time knows this is absolutely my favorite gloss black. I actually do also love the IFS Super Wet Black. IFS customer service and ordering stuff has gotten to be kind of a hassle over time, so I've slowed in my using it. But if you do have access to IFS and you prefer to use them, the Super Wet Black is another great product. And for anybody who's followed this channel for any period of time, or if you're new, I guess, I always start spraying wheels in the back. And the reason I do that is to get the wraparound, the powder that would, otherwise go through the wheel and potentially wrap around onto the front of the wheel, to cover most of the spokes for me. That means I have to put less powder on the front of the wheel, and you don't risk getting too much powder on the front of the wheel. Just a preference of mine. I know lots of people have their own opinions on this. Once the black has been flowed out, of course, we're going to be going to Tiger's super durable clear here. Once again, the customer had used this product in the past with another powder coater and seemed to like it. This is not necessarily the gloss clear that I would choose, but I gave him the option, and this is the one that he chose. And it's not a bad choice by any means. It's obviously, you'll see at the end of this, very glossy. And if you're worried about micro scratches and things like that, super durable clear is going to be a lot better off for you. As stated earlier, of course, I'm doing the back of the wheel first. You see the wraparound gave great coverage, so it's a minimal amount of powder for me to go through and make sure I get the entire front covered evenly. As stated earlier, it's just a preference thing. I've actually had a couple people tell me that I'm doing this wrong, and that's fine too. But as you can tell looking at these wheels, it's kind of hard to argue with the success. These are, of course, incredibly glossy. Now, the be-all end-all question here is, does it make it glossier than the gloss black? And honestly, I would say no, but this is a great way to protect your finish if you want to do a clear, especially a super durable clear. We all know how prone gloss black is to micro scratches, so a great option for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back for the next one.